This is going to sound weird. You're not just one you, you're like a whole team inside. And you're about to learn a simple map of who you are, not as confusing spiritual talk, but as a practical tool you can use to make better decisions, feel more comfortable, and run your life or business with more confidence. Think of yourself as what I call the source field architect, the deepest, wisest part organizing everything inside of you. Now, most people use words like soul, spirit, and higher self like they all mean the same thing. The thing is, they don't. And if you're an awakened achiever, one who's smart, aware, and still sometimes find yourself spinning your wheels, worrying too much, or second-guessing yourself, this confusion quietly costs you success. Because if you don't know which part of you is talking, you'll take advice from the wrong inner voice. You'll treat a worried feeling like it's a problem. You'll treat a real problem like it's just a feeling. Or worst of all, you'll confuse, I need to do this now, with this is the right thing to do. So I'm going to give you some simple and easy to use map and identity stack that you can use to figure out where you are, get guidance from the right part of yourself, and get back on track fast. And I'm going to use some real life examples because advice that doesn't help you actually do things, well, those are just nice sounding words. So let's go. Here's the main problem. Your physical life trains you to think you're just one person. Physical life is one at a time. One body, one calendar, one list of things to do, one email box that never stops filling up. So you assume that you are one person, one single thing. But the non-physical parts of you aren't singular. They're layered. They're like a field with multiple versions of you, past, present, possible future, and they're all interacting, and there are many of each of them. In quantum reality language, you're not a single dot. You're not one person living one life. Now, this sounds kind of complicated, but the you who you think of you is actually a structure of possibilities. And because humans don't like complexity, we smoosh all those yous into sloppy words like my soul or my spirit, as if it's all one thing. It's not. I'm going to give you a clear map. We'll start with the most personal layer, and then we'll move up the chain. So layer one, your spirit self. This is the operator. This is the version of you that feels like you, even though it doesn't have a body. Same personality, same sense of I am me. Just not limited by time, aging, or messy physical stuff. In practical terms, this is your operator. This is the part of you that's doing the doing, choosing, acting, reacting, getting things done, selling, avoiding, creating. When you say, I'm overwhelmed, that's typically the operator talking. Imagine you have a big project due tomorrow and you haven't started. Your operator voice is the voice saying, I should have started earlier. I need to work all night. Maybe I should just give up. It's the part of you that feels pressure right now. And by the way, this is important. The operator is not bad. It's totally necessary. You couldn't function without it. But the operator is also the part most likely to confuse noise with real signals because it lives closest to the action and the stress. So if you run your life only from this layer, you'll default into things like more busy work, more grinding, more hours, more I need to do this now, more maybe I need to try something completely different. Now, that's not wrong. It's just looking at things from too close up and thinking you see the whole picture. Let's look at layer two, your future identity. I call this one the visionary CEO. Let's rename what people call the higher self to something more useful. Your future identity. This is you in the future. You more evolved, you're more wise version. This is you, but more put together, more skilled, more experienced, more emotionally clear. Your future identity is the one who already learned the lessons you're still learning the hard way. Think about learning to ride a bike. When you're wobbling and scared, that's your operator. But somewhere inside of you is the version who already knows how to ride smoothly, who can see that falling a few times, well, that's just part of learning. That's not a disaster. That is your future identity. This layer isn't just spiritual. It's strategic, because your future identity doesn't just know more. It looks at things from a whole different point of view. It looks at things differently. It doesn't make decisions from fear. It doesn't need approval from others. It doesn't confuse being busy with making progress. In practical terms, your future identity is your visionary CEO layer. Not the stressed out worker, not the anxious doer, the CEO who can zoom out, who can see the whole game board and make the cleanest move. That's why in quantum reality work, we never ask, what do I feel like doing today? We ask, what would the wise version of me choose, as if my goals were guaranteed to happen? When you connect with this layer, it feels like sudden clarity. No question, you just know this is the right move, not because it's easy, but because it's true. Now let's look at layer 3. This is your soul line. It's like a portfolio of yous. It isn't just you. This is your whole connected family of selves, and you have shared growth and a shared identity. This is the broader identity current that holds multiple expressions, multiple yous across lifetimes, timelines, and different versions, different dimensions of reality. If you've ever met someone and felt, I know you, or we're supposed to do something together, or this person brings out a part of me I didn't even know existed, that's often soul line resonance. The vibration you feel when you meet someone who is actually an alternate version of yourself. Maybe you meet someone new at school or work, and within 5 minutes, you're talking like old friends. You finish each other's sentences. You get each other without explaining. That's soul line recognition. Your deeper selves already know each other. In relationship terms, we call this person, when we're lucky enough to meet them, we call them a soulmate. In practical terms, think of this as soul line as a portfolio of yous. Usually those yous, they aren't doing all the same thing. Together, you're running multiple projects. Each of those yous is a separate expression with a shared theme running through them. And the collective yous of the soul line have a job, shaping your operator into your future identity. The soul line teaches you not with soft feelings, not like a parent, but with smart pressure. That's why certain patterns repeat until you learn what they're trying to teach you. You might call it bad luck, but the soul line calls it, well, they call it lessons. If you keep attracting the same kind of friend who drains you, that's a lesson. If you keep hitting the same obstacle, that's a lesson. If you keep quitting just before you succeed, well, that's supposed to be a lesson. The lessons are also why some collaborations feel easy and natural, like they're meant to be, while others feel like you're sinking in quicksand. Soul alignment doesn't guarantee easy. It does guarantee meaning. And meaning is rocket fuel for entrepreneurs. Because when your purpose is switched on, you feel more stable, you have more energy, and your actions feel more clear. Layer 4, the soul field architect. This is your board of directors. This is the deepest and paradoxically the most upstream layer of your identity. So far upstream, it feels like not you and more you than you've ever been, and it feels them both at the same time. This layer holds the blueprint of your total becoming. It's not your personality. It's not your preferences. It's the organizing intelligence that keeps your whole system growing toward wholeness. In practical terms, the soul field architect is the holding company, the board of directors, and the source of power, and it's all of those things at once. This is the layer that can see which games are worth playing, which desires are actually distortions, which opportunities are really energy drains. Imagine you're playing a video game and you're stuck at one level, trying the same strategy over and over because you don't know anything else. The source field architect is like suddenly zooming out and seeing the entire game map, realizing there's a completely different path that you never noticed. It's not about trying harder. It's about seeing the biggest of big pictures. This is where people have those moments that they feel like being met by a love so huge, it changes them. That's not emotional hype. That's not excitement. That's not dopamine. But it's a steady, protective, evolutionary force. Surprisingly, when people touch this layer, well, it's typically when everything is falling apart, when the plan fails, when the relationship breaks, when the body says, no more, I can't take it, when all the strategies that used to work, they stop working. And suddenly from inside you, someone really stands up and says, we're not dying, we're recalibrating. That's not motivational speaking. That's the source field architect, and it's restoring order. See, here's the key. These layers are different, but they're not disconnected. There's a coherence thread running through them. It's what allows wisdom to flow down from the top and growth to flow up. Now, remember, the whole point of your soul choosing to be human, the whole point of that is growth, and the growth flows up. Coherence is when a clean signal runs through your entire identity stack. When you're out of coherence, the operator is making decisions cut off from the CEO, cut off from the soul line, cut off from the source field architect. And you call that being stuck. But that's not stuck. That's signal loss. Now, people get this wrong all the time because life punishes uncertainty and it rewards certainty. And even when that certainty is fake. I used to repeat a very misguided expression. I used to say, certainty is worth more than accuracy. I believed it. I lived by it. I thought it was brilliant. And it was totally crazy. Based on this kind of thinking, people learn to force decisions just to be decisive. But the real power isn't forced decisions. The real power is in locating the correct layer of authority. So here's a quick way to figure out where you are. If the voice in your head sounds frantic, black and white, or shame-based, that's the operator struggling in survival mode. If the voice sounds spacious, calm, inevitable, that's your future identity speaking. If the pattern continues repeating and seems meant to be, that's a soul line lesson. And if you feel a vast, stabilizing presence, a calm presence that reorganizes your priorities in an instant, that's the soul fields architect. Different layers, different instructions. It's the same you, but at a different altitude, a different point of view. So let's make this practical. Here's how you can use this week. When you face a decision, like an offer, how to structure an offer, or a choice, or a change, or a packaging move. Don't ask, what should I do? Ask, which layer am I deciding from? Then do a fast reset. Come back to your breath. Slow your system down. Let your nervous system stop voting. And then ask yourself, what would my future identity do if the goal is long-term coherence, not short-term relief? You want one phase to remember this by. Seeking relief is not strategy. Seeking coherence is strategy. And coherence is how you become the person who can handle more success, more responsibility, more visibility, all without falling apart. So you are not one you. You are an identity stack, an operator, future identity, a soul line, a source field architect. And the game isn't to be more spiritual. The game is to run your life from the correct layer of authority, the right authority at the right moment, so your actions carry much more signal and much less noise. If you do that consistently, you stabilize. Your decisions get cleaner. Your offers get sharper. You act with greater authority, and your results start looking and feeling inevitable, because they are. I have an invitation for you. Reach out to me in the contact tab of my website. If you want, share the current decision you're wrestling with, choice, direction, strategy, whatever, and I'll help you locate which layer you're in, where the signal is coming from, and what the coherent move looks like. The links are below. Thanks for watching and listening.